Hello, welcome to my week 8 learning teaching interaction. So over the last couple of weeks, we studied some different things. First was chapter 3 in the book. It was principles of program evaluation. First is vision and goals. I really like this part of it because it explains how to create a vision, a goal, and objective so that you can reach what your vision is. First, a vision is what do we want to create? Second, a goal is steps to get to your vision. And third, an objective is something that's specific, measurable, and detailed. So it gives a level of intent, how to achieve goals and reach vision, usually describes some type of action or knowledge to be gained. And I really like visions and goals because in every company I've worked in, they've had visions and goals, and it's helped me as a person know where the company is trying to get. And so it helps me to be able to help that company get where they want to be. Next, we talked about Jacob's 5 tiers of evaluation. So the first tier is pre-implementation tier. This is an assessment conducted to establish fit between a community need and proposed programs. Second is an accountability tier, which is systematic collection of client-specific and service utilization data. So who's getting what service? Next is program clarification tier, or it's program staff and participants provide feedback on how to improve program goals and objectives. So how can we do a better job serving our clients? Fourth is progress towards objectives tier, which is a more mature programs get careful attention to outcomes, including answering the questions, which participants achieved which of the approximate objectives, and are there differential program effects based on participants' age, races, or opinions. And lastly is the program impact tier. This is the most rigorous tier. It often entails random assignment of participants to treatment, delayed treatment groups, longitudinal data collection, and complex analyses. Often in this tier, you'll see 30 to 40% of your total budget may be allocated to evaluation activities. And lastly, in the chapter, we talked about logic models. Logic models were first developed by Edward Schuschman, and they're gaining in popularity, increasing in popularity. So logic models give a description of situation and priorities, stakeholders, and summary of research or best practices related to the identified problem. Logic models specify inputs such as human, financial, material, knowledge, resources, etc., that type of input. They also specify outputs, which is like activities, participant processes, agencies, customers, etc. They also measure outcomes and impacts. So changes in knowledge, attitudes, skills, and aspirations would be short-term impacts or outcomes. Changes in behavior or social policy would be medium-term outcomes or impacts. And changes in communities, such as lower divorce rates or lower teen pregnancy rates, would be long-term outcomes or impacts. Next, we read in Appendix E, Ethics and Family Life Education. First, they talked about the need of the ethical standard. There's a quote that says, Brock 1993 announced the need for ethical standards for family life educators. Because there are instances where family life educators can do harm, professional conduct should be guided by professional standards in much the same way as our doctors, social workers, and marriage and family therapists. I thought this was really important because it establishes the need for an ethical standard. Why do we need it? Well, this is why. Secondly, they talk about the ethical principles and guidelines. Now, for family life education, the ethical principles are a guideline instead of a forced legal code. So it's not something that's enforced. There's not, family life education police that's going to come and tell you that you're not following the code, but it's more of a guideline. And I agree with all the guidelines that they provide. Now, how did they come up with these guidelines? Well, the Minnesota Council on Family Relations, or MCFR, did a lot of the efforts and a lot of the groundwork for these guidelines. The current guidelines for the family life education were mostly adapted from MCFR's guidelines that they had put together after they studied some different things. So, since 1992, the Ethics Committee, of MCFR had studied ethical thinking and behavior for family life educators. This included a study of rational ethics, a principles approach, and virtue ethics. Next, we read in professional ethics and practice, and they talked about the importance, excuse me, the importance of ethical thinking and practice in family life education. So it's important because of these reasons, and they give 4. Growth and maturity of the field of family life education, working with more diverse families and complex family systems, and society holds family life educators more accountable as professionals, and the increase in number of programs demands clearer standards. Then they talk about ethical theories in family life education. These are the 3 that we talked about just a few minutes ago. And that's the principles approach, which is guidelines describe an ideal level of practice that's defined through a set of specific principles that reflect important professional values. Relational ethics form a basis for understanding the specific ethical dilemmas and guide practice first and foremost towards the development of caring and respectful relationships with all family members. And virtue ethics focuses on the person of the family life educator and their moral competence. This includes caring, prudence, or practical wisdom, and hope and optimism. Next, we read in boundaries between parent and family life education and family therapy. So it talks about the levels of family life involvement, or the LFI model. First level is the minimal emphasis on family. This is parents and families are included just for practical or legal reasons. Level 2 is information and advice. It's a collaborative educational activity with families. Level 3 is feelings and support, which uses level 2 and includes eliciting feelings and experiences of family members. Level 4 is brief focused intervention, an assessment and planned effort to help parents change a troublesome parenting problem or broader family interaction pattern or larger systems problem. And level 5 is family therapy, so extended series of family sessions aimed at treating serious psychological and family problems by stimulating significant change in family interaction patterns. So level 3 is optimal, that's where we want to stay. Level 1 and 5 are just to show what's outside the scope of FLE and what the boundaries are for FLE. Lastly, we read in conceptualizing the domain and boundaries of family life education. They had some concerns with Doherty's LFI model, which was that FLE and family therapy is in a hierarchical relationship. There's an inconsistent definition of FLE and superficial and inaccurate criteria. So they have a differential path towards healthy and effective families by asking why, what, when, for whom, and how. And that's it. Thanks for watching.